So if you clicked on this video today, I'm going to assume that you at least have some level of interest in achieving financial freedom. So for most of us that would like to achieve financial freedom, a job or career is going to have to form part of this plan. In this video, I show you the difference between a job and a career, but more importantly, I show you which of the two you will need to help you achieve your goal of financial freedom. So if you want to learn the difference between a job and a career and how these two work towards achieving financial freedom, but also overall fulfillment in life, this is the video for you. So the reason that I started this channel is that I've been a financial advisor now for about 8 years. I've been able to see all of the things that people get right that help them to achieve financially, but also some of the myths that people believe in and some of the mistakes that people make that make them fail to achieve their goals as far as their finances are concerned. So if you want to learn tips, if you want to achieve financial freedom, if you want to get insider information about what you need to do, what you don't need to do to achieve financial freedom, this is the channel for you. So if this is the type of content you like to see, click on the subscribe button. Also add notifications so you can be the first to know whenever I come out with a new video. So are you in a job or a career right now? Interesting question, isn't it? One that's cause for deep introspection about your life, your destiny, your purpose. Although these are two words that are used interchangeably to describe your state of employment, these are two concepts that could not be further apart. While on this topic though, in society when speaking about the differences between a job and a career, we seem to nuance the differences as mediocre versus good, or great versus excellent. This is far from the case. I really disagree with this approach, but I'll tell you why a bit later in the video. So what is a job? A job is a form of employment. In this type of employment, you're basically swapping your time for some kind of remuneration. This can be on a full-time basis, could be on a part-time basis, could be on a contractual basis, could also be on a consulting basis, could also be on a temporary basis. This type of arrangement could require from you a certain set of skills or maybe even experience, but these are usually not highly specialized, and these are skills or experience that don't take an awful amount of time to develop. What typically determines how long you stay in a job is usually the extent to which you're getting paid and the extent to which you feel you are being valued for your time. If you are presented with a new opportunity, the biggest contributing factor that would determine whether you take the opportunity or not is usually related to how much you will be paid. You may even consider abandoning your current skill set in favor of learning a new skill set that could potentially get you paid even more. And if you haven't already figured it by now, your most prized commodity in this space is your paycheck. In a job, you most likely won't be asked to work beyond the scope of what was originally contracted, and also your remuneration structure may not even have much allowance for you to be paid more than the agreed upon amount. Sometimes you may have every intention to grow in your job, but because of the job that you have, there is little allowance for upward mobility, and thus you cannot turn your job into a career. If in the space you want upward mobility, sometimes you have to get a little creative about it. All this being said, having a job may not be an entirely bad idea, but we'll talk about this later in the video. So, what then is a career? Similarly to a job, a career most often takes place in the form of employment. Unlike a job, your assessment of a new opportunity is largely dependent not necessarily on money, but on your professional development. So in other words, if you get a new prospect, what you ask yourself most is, how is this new prospect serving towards my overall growth and my overall plans for my career? Sometimes you may even choose to forego a substantial pay increase just for the opportunity to progress your career and gain professional development. When you are in a career, you are working towards building yourself as a brand. And because you are building yourself as a brand, sometimes even the competitors of the employer that you are working for may seek to procure your skills so that they can benefit from the brand that you are So even if you take on an opportunity with a competitor, you still would not be changing careers so much as changing employers. In fact, if you are doing well in your career, or if you have built a strong brand, this is quite often evidenced by you receiving many opportunities from different parties. When you have a good career, your first job leads to the next, and the next to the next, and so forth. To you, as a career person, a job is simply a tool that you use for progression, but definitely not your ultimate goal. Oftentimes, you may be required to put in extra hours to show your dedication and also to gain your experience and also to build your brand. But later down the line, you will be rewarded handsomely for putting in all these extra hours. Your most prized commodity in this space is your accomplishment, and this is usually accompanied by change of titles and increase in responsibilities. And while there may be quite significant monetary compensation, these bear testament to your experience, your titles, and the amount of responsibility that you're able to take on. This being said, a career definitely also has its disadvantages. So let's talk about advantages and disadvantages. Yes, both of these parts, career and job, both had advantages and disadvantages. So while a job may not be the most obvious path that you can take if you're trying to build wealth, it also does have advantages in that it could offer you a wealth of time, which you can use to live a fuller life or to pursue other opportunities, or even both. Thus, although a career may be rewarding in the monetary sense, it is often at the expense of time and often also at the expense of opportunity. So let's look at an example to see how you can use a job to help you get what you really want. Let's say you do a bit of research and you find out that without too much dedication of time, you can find yourself repairing electronics for a living. Knowing that you don't need a college degree to do this type of work, you enroll for on-the-job training, and let's say within 5 years, you find yourself earning $78,000. This may not be the most glamorous of jobs, but the pay to hour ratio is pretty decent, and it also allows you to be able to have meaningful conversations with the banks. So let's say you start talking to the banks, or you pursue some side hustle and you grow that over the years. Within 10 years, you've got a sizable rental portfolio, or you've grown your side hustle into a stable business. Thus, you no longer need the job, so you can decide to quit your job and move on to other things if that's what you want for yourself. And yes, you can do the same with a career, but it's gonna take you longer because you have limited time. I recently read an article that forecasted that most people living in our generation will most likely go through 3 career changes during their working life. The world is changing so fast, so I can easily believe that. This being said, a career can easily lead to having multiple careers at the same time. Let me use myself as an example. Let's say I spend a good couple of years developing my financial advisor brand. While consulting with some of my clients who further into my career are most likely high net worth individuals, I get afforded an opportunity to explore entrepreneurship. Later on, I start a blog, just recounting my lessons and all the things I've learned as a financial advisor. This online blog turns into a YouTube channel, and people that see me on YouTube start calling me in to give a keynote address at some of their events. And in this manner, through the brand that I've created as a financial advisor, I can earn myself an income as a consultant, as an entrepreneur, as a blogger, as a YouTuber, and also a public speaker. 1 career, 5 income streams, 5 jobs. So what do you want for yourself? Depending on what you want, a job or a career can get you there. The choice is ultimately yours. Contrary to what you may have had in mind when you clicked on this video, you may actually be in a job when you should be in a career right now, or vice versa. You might actually need to be in a job while you're in a career. The most important thing is what you do with the money that you earn. Just as it is possible to have a career but still be a slave perpetually to your finances or even to your career, it is also possible to have a job which you can parlay into a mini empire. You can be a contractor with a sizable portfolio, or even a side hustle that you grow organically, slowly over the years. You could even go as far as thinking of your job as supporting either your property portfolio or your side hustle. Either way, first you need to determine what's important to you and make the necessary changes so that your job or your career can align with your overall goals. Like many jobs, several careers also now no longer need a college degree. This is more increasingly becoming the case. Elon Musk is just one example of a business leader who does not place an immense amount of value on academic qualifications. He is not an engineer, yet he founded and runs one of the biggest engineering companies in the world. One that not only sells products, but is actually at the cutting edge of its industry and moving its entire industry forward. And do you know what the most crazy part is? If you listen and if you study him, you'll actually learn that he spends most of his time in the engineering part of the business, doing engineering stuff. Yet he did not study towards his qualification. More than this, he actually taught himself how to be an engineer. If Elon Musk can teach himself to be an engineer, what can you not teach yourself? And as a lot of money can be made through careers, you can also make a good amount of money through jobs as well. More importantly, you can actually achieve financial freedom by using any of these two paths. So do your research and find out which is best for you, your financial plan, and your peace of mind. Don't allow society to dictate to you which of the two you need to be somebody. Focus on your why, not your what. And whichever you choose, don't allow yourself to be financially dependent on either a job or a career. Use your income to get your finances to a stage where you don't have to depend on either your job or your career to live your life on your own terms. But whatever you do, go with what is going to give you peace. Don't follow society, follow your own plan, follow your own peace. So I've been running my financial planning practice for about 8 years now. So I've been thoroughly exposed to all the methods that work and all the methods that don't work. And as an extension of this YouTube channel, I've also now started to consult one-on-one, helping you with wealth coaching. We talk everything from credit, how to speak to your banks, buying cars, property investment, everything you need to know so that you can achieve financial freedom successfully. If you want to get in touch and schedule a consultation, contact me via the email provided in the description.